Hello,
Hello.
I will wait, Hiroyuki. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Start. I share my screen. Mm, Today, we continue to address the TOC's review comments. And yeah, these are the table. This is a table. Previously, Hiroyuki gathered comments from TLC. And yeah, let's address one by one. First, maybe, yeah, using this table. First, this is a feels slightly redundant and very clear that likely already fixed by Yoshiki. And yeah, this is correct. So it's done. So the next one is also this was mentioned in previous meeting. So yeah, and this was done. We already fixed like this. We added that tokens are validated before the delegated authorization step. And Next one is what about also mentioned being implemented as well aside from tested. This is already addressed in previous meeting. Where's that? That is a requirement. Already resolved, or maybe resolved, I think. Yeah. And the next one is this redundant. And yeah, this already addressed in previous meeting, maybe here. Yeah. We fixed that the use case described the set workload that manage the session, and also this use case describes the stateless workload that doesn't manage the session like this. This was done, and this one. It sounds like SPIFFs are required for all implementation should we keep. It's something like must perform, blah blah blah, and Hiroyuki suggested that no change needed. Yeah, I agree with that. Because the advanced pattern intentionally adapted SPP specification as a requirement for workload identity. Section 4.6 and 4.7 define this dedicated SPP requirements, and SBITS is a core part of the patterns architectures. And maybe that was already marked as resolved in Facila. I think. Oh, this is a new comment. Yeah, I replayed today, I think, and maybe Pasira marked as resolves that comment. Yeah. Okay. And next one. Should we add a brief suite model framing or summary to connect this section to the later architecture choices? And this was addressed by previous meeting. This was done. And also not completely sure if this is feasible, but just a question, is it possible to explain why these particular standards were selected? And this was addressed, yeah, here. And already added something. Where is that? Maybe here. Selected based on their maturity, broad adoption, interoperability, and relevance to cloud-native environment. Yeah. So this was done. And yeah, these are not addressed yet. And the next one is, please clarify that even when using the authorization code flow with Pixie, YDC still requires state and north. Pixie doesn't replace this. But yeah, we discussed this in previous meeting. No change needed. In the ORDC spec, state and north are not mandatory. Pixie provides CSRF defense as a side effect, and FAPI 2.0 mandated specifically for that purpose. That is already maybe still Here, yeah, we reply like this. No, this was replied, and this is not yet addressed. And the next one is a data minimization section already covers PII minimization well. Should we reinforce here that token contents should follow the same PII minimization principle described above? And hierarchy that partially accept, and I agree with this. The PII minimization principle is already covered under data minimization. However, the current wording of secure handling could be misleading. So I answered this one. Maybe there is privacy principle. And I answered this comment, and Pasira already marked as result. And the change is like this. Secure handling is some misleading, so I changed to the exposure limitation, and I changed it to systems that process identity-related data, including tokens, logs, and policy inputs should limit unnecessary exposure of such data to prevent unauthorized disclosure. Yeah, I changed like this. What do you think about this change, Hiroyuki?
I agree with these changes. Okay.
About Satarupa?
Yeah, I'm also okay with this change.
Okay, so I accept these changes. Okay, so this was done. And next one is consider adding a brief note that this stateful pattern applies to server-side session-based web apps and not to SPAs, etc. that use access tokens. This helps avoid confusion for those coming from modern SPA pattern background. And Hiroki said, yeah, partial accept. Yeah, I agree with this. The current description correctly focuses on the access method rather than client architecture. However, readers familiar with SPA patterns may assume this only applies to traditional service apps. So there is a here. And already, Pasira marked it approved, and just changes are remained. I added like this. This pattern applies to browser-based applications that rely on server-side sessions, including SPAs that adapt the back-end for front-end BFF pattern, and is distinct from application architectures in which access tokens are handled by the user agent and directly used for API access. And on the other side, state-related workloads, this pattern applies to application architectures in which access tokens are handled by the client and directly used for API access. What do you think about this adding, Hiroyuki?
Okay, it's a good description.
Thank you. And how about Satarupa?
Yeah, I'm okay with this change. This sounds better.
So I accept this suggestion. Okay, so the next one is before that, this one, Mr. Hiroyuki's advice. This is should number be 0 or 1 indexed area number the listed status with 1. That is regarding here. And this numbering. Basic pattern is start with 1. but advanced pattern is started with 0. And Andrew said about that. And I agree with Hiroyuki's opinion. And Hiroyuki said, step 0 is intentionally numbered to indicate it is a setup step, SBT assurance, that occurs independently of the pull request flow. I agree with this, and I answered like that. But yeah, and also consider adding a brief note such as step 0 represents a setup phase. Yeah, I agree with that, and I added like this here. This step represents a setup phase that occurs independently of the pull request flow described below. And also this use case too. The same sentence is added. And I answered like that. In the other pose, in the advanced pattern, issue bit represents a setup phase that occurs independently of the pull request flow described in the subsequent steps. Yeah. And what do you think about this change, Hiroyuki?
I'm okay with the changes.
Mm-hmm. About Satarupa?
I'm also okay with this change.
Thank you. Okay, so I accept the suggestion. Okay, so the next one is there a reason that this sentence is on a different line? Yeah, this was addressed by Hiroyuki in previous meeting. So this was already done. And also, since the terminology had been using OIDCOP previously, should this be carried over here in this section as well? Yeah. And this already addressed by Hiroyuki that changed OP to OIDCOP. Yeah, this was done already. And the remaining comments are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And yeah, these four I bring some idea for reply policy. First one is same comment as above. Yeah, this was already marked as resolved by Hasira that there is yeah. Yeah, we added this sentence, also this sentence, and this comment was added here and said that same comment as above. If we want to avoid ambiguity over confidential client and public client, so we added, yeah, this the same form of sentence like this. And the next one is a short note explaining that SBIT provides local identity while the internal access token carry the user identity and authorization context, to help readers understand the need for both. This was maybe in advanced patterns workload 2. I already marked as result, I think. Maybe here. And we indicate, for example, in this requirement, like this also enable the PDP to apply authorization policies based on workload identity in addition to user identity supporting dual subject authorization in the advanced pattern. And also, I remember that here, What's that? Here. In this pattern, workload identity is obtained from the high-speed while user identity and authorization contexts are carried in the internal access token. Maybe also here. In this pattern, workload identity is obtained from the S-bit while user identity and authorization context are carried in the internal access token. Yeah. But there is no clear requirement, like indicating here in this one. So I added, and one more thing, there's another requirement, but I realized that in basic patterns, stateful workloads, there are requirements that may use received access tokens for subsequent workload call. This allows OIDC RP to use access tokens received from the OIDC OP for calling downstream workload on behalf of the authenticated user. And this may mean when calling the subsequent workload, the workload may use received access token. So we need these requirements upgrade in the advanced pattern, I think. So I added first like this. Must use received access tokens for subsequent workload calls. Yeah, this is the same content. In my understanding, this requirement is needed here because in the basic pattern, this access token is optional, but in advanced pattern, this internal access token or this internal access token is necessary. So we need this kind of requirements that must use received access token for subsequent workload. This is for the stateful workload. So this is a requirement for where is that? The advanced pattern use case one, I think. Yeah, here. So yeah, I added this requirement here. Is this understanding is correct? What do you think, Hiroyuki?
I think typically it's okay, but I have concern of when the backend API is not related to the end user context. For example, it doesn't need a user ID, user name. In the pattern, the access token access token is needed, but the user identity is not needed, I think.
No, I see. You mean that is not there is a case that is not the user but some workload or
Yeah.
client, right?
Yeah.
I see. But yeah, maybe there's many, as I said before, like this, regarding user identity and also
NDP requirement.
here Yeah, in this pattern, macro identity is obtained from the SBT, while user identity and authorization context are carried in the internal access token.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
also
it's
here.
out of scope. So currently.
Yeah, I understand what you say because, yeah, maybe in section 1, he wrote that user and client or something like user and workload, something like that.
Yeah, it's out of scope for batch processing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. How about user identity in the backend?
Let's check the
I
advanced pattern
I think
workload.
I need to check document again.
Must validate internal access token. Yeah, this is here. And must, the validation includes the subject. Yeah, this is not especially indicating the user. Must delegate authorization to PDP. And in PDP requirements, must authenticate the user. And this also enables the PDP to apply authorization policy based on macro identity in addition to user identity. This seems that user identity was carried by the access token. And that is a little difficult things. If there's no user identity and only for workload identity, there are another discussion about mutual TLS only carry workload identity of this, how to say, directly access to the workload too, and not indicating this previous workload. But access token can carry also user identity and the original client identity. Not a very difficult problem, I think. Yeah, for now, we assume that but this requirement is maybe here, just here. Authenticated user. Authenticated user. This is kind of user identity, I think. Yeah, but this description also assumes the authorized user identity. And this requirement said that when requesting subsequent workload, we can use received access token. So, yeah, this seems to indicate the access token carried the user identity. Yeah,
Mm, mm,
we
yeah,
need to check.
Yeah, I think basic pattern is okay because it's optional. Mm, but the problem is advanced pattern. Currently we use must.
Okay, so yeah, I remain this part, so please check the policy. Okay, so here.
Okay, I check again.
You. Okay, so the next one is here. Might be good to call out that this requirement is for communication external and internal to the Kubernetes cluster. Back to the previous discussion, we added here this requirement and also adding this description in this pattern. The SVT establishes the identity of core and workload via MTLS, while the access token carries user identity and authorization context. This separation allows authorization decision to be based on both the workload and the user. Yeah, and also I added here. Then Hasira marked as a result that comment. Yeah. And regarding this one, that is from the Andrew. Maybe here. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. So I added to this one. This requirement applies to all communications, including those within the Kubernetes cluster and those that cross the cluster boundary. What do you think about these changes, Hiroyuki?
It's okay for changes.
Okay. How about Satoru?
Yeah, I'm okay with this change.
I accept the suggestion. Okay. And the last one is, do we consider Kubernetes secret as secure? And other reviewers said, Caesar driver SPIFFE in case of Kubernetes and SPIFFE's helper are often used to deliver SVT to locals. So I change it like this, delete Kubernetes secret and adding CSI-based mechanisms such as SPIFFE CSI driver and SPIFFE helper. Yeah. When if we delete this Kubernetes secret, we already described other implementation specific methods. So if audience want to apply this Kubernetes secret, yeah, they can apply with this description. And when applying Kubernetes secret, must implement secure workload identity delivery mechanisms. So, for example, using RBAC or something policy. Yeah. Then using Kubernetes secret was okay. And our response that we added this CSI-based mechanism such as the SPIFFE CSI driver and SPIFFE helper and delete Kubernetes secret. Yeah. What do you think about this change, Hiroyuki?
Okay.
How about Satarupa?
Yes, I'm okay with this change.
Okay, so I accept the suggestion. And yeah, what do you think about this change as viewpoint of sub-Kubernetes perspective or something like that? Kyohei or Yuzia? this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Kyohei, do you think so too?
Yes. It's okay.
Thank you. Okay, so I accepted the suggestion. Okay. So that's all, and yeah, we continuously address this comment in this week. And also, yeah, I'd like Hiroyuki to check this description. Yeah, that's all for our assignment, but I found a new comment. Yeah, so we need to address this comment. Yeah, that's all for today. Do you have any discussion theme you'd like to discuss here? Nothing?
Nothing. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I will finish today's meeting. Yeah, thank you for attending this meeting. And yeah, have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.